What happens when a woman civil engineer decides to change the diversity landscape in the construction industry? She builds an app that easily and instantly connects top-rated minority subcontractors and job seekers with construction contractors. Oh yeah, it's Fab Female Founder Friday on the Startup Life live show. Let's glow, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande, Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I have such a deep appreciation for what you all are crawling through every single day, the high levels of uncertainty that you're walking through and navigating. I am in awe and wonder of you because I know one minute you're popping the champagne, yes, and then the next minute you're boo-hooing into it because, oh no, it's a disaster. That's the founder life, right? So I'm truly grateful that you carved out time to tune in and grab the gems from our delicious conversation today and up your founder game, because as you do better, your business will do better. So a big yoo-hoo to the live viewers tuning in today, and a hearty welcome to all the replay viewers and podcast listeners. You will love this conversation. And if you're tuning in from YouTube and haven't done so already, please share your subscribe love and click on the bell icon for alerts whenever I go live on the channel. And to receive an alert whenever a new show is posted, well, hey, come on over and join the Startup Life Live meetup group. That's right. You will get an alert whenever I post a new show. And I know there is a founder that you will learn from and a story that you will hear that will inspire you and your founder journey. And if you resonate with the show's mission of amplifying diverse founder voices while serving first-time founders around the world, please reach out to me to learn more about how you can make a greater impact on the startup ecosystem through sponsoring the Startup Life Live Show. Okay, let me introduce you to our phenomenal guest. I admit she's a friend of mine here in the Boston area, just a favorite person. Serial entrepreneur Angela Sanchez, and she is the CEO and co-founder of Merge-Tek, a social enterprise for construction stakeholders to discover, connect, and track compliance for services from minority-owned businesses. Angela has more than 18 years experience in the construction industry, holding management positions for multi-million-dollar projects with and for the government. Born in Bogota, Colombia, Angela holds a degree in civil engineering and an MBA from Babson College. And yeah, she's the proud mom of 3 wonderful girls. How fabulous is that? Let's bring her into the room with a hearty welcome. Yay, get the clappers ready. Angela! Welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm so happy to have you here and have you share your wonderful stories. Where are you hanging out from today?
Thank you, Ande, first of all, for having me. I love you and I always enjoy every conversation we have. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm in my office today in the Boston area, so we are very close.
That's right. It's just so lovely because Angela and I used to see each other all the time. In fact, I'm not sure what year it was. I want to say 2017, maybe 2018. When I met you, you were part of Babson's Women's Entrepreneurship cohort. What was it?
2016.
2016. Oh my gosh. And so they were having their final pitch event, everyone, which was at, I think, HubSpot's headquarters in Cambridge. Oh my gosh, this open atrium area. And there Angela was before the pitch of, or the final awards or whatever's happening. She had her table out. You were the founder of Artyfactos at the time. And I bought this ring then. I still wear it to this day.
I have a red one.
Yay! And so before we get going, tell everybody a little bit about Artyfactos, because I know you're wearing the necklace right now and you've got the jewelry on, and this will help tie everything in to why you became an entrepreneur. Because, civil engineer, Angie, it is like you're tied in, you're making things happen. It's construction, it's building. And perhaps a guaranteed paycheck. So what happened that you wanted to explore retail, first of all, and jewelry? Because folks, this is such a good story. So take it away, Angela Sanchez.
But Ande, thank you so much again for sharing this story, for allowing me to share this story, even though you already know it by heart. But basically, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. So my parents were both entrepreneurs, and I never knew them like working for anybody else. My dad is a serial entrepreneur, so I
Oh my
basically
gosh.
from them. And
Angela, I never knew this about you. I didn't know that you came from, I mean, so you had these role models, of course.
yes, so
They started a business and your dad several times. So you're like, well, of course, that's what one does.
yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why I'm a civil engineer, is because he had a construction company. So I'm the oldest in the family, so I'm supposed to continue the business. So, but I moved here, so and he had to close it anyway.
Oh my gosh. So what inspired you to do jewelry?
Yeah, well, jewelry. We had a podcast years ago, and what I shared that time is that I really was reluctant to jump into jewelry because I didn't know anything about the fashion industry. I'm working in construction. But what really, there were two things that happened. One was that wearing my jewelry here was people chased me on the streets and asked me where I bought the pieces. And I always said, like, I got them in Colombia, and that was the end of the story. The other side was talking to the artisans in Colombia and understanding how their life is, how difficult it is for them to survive because they basically sell this on the streets. So for me was, how can I be that bridge? For me
Mhm.
was all about social entrepreneurship, really. And the jewelry was the vehicle to help, right? I couldn't ask them to build a building. So I need to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
How I could take advantage of that position and opportunity and be that bridge and create, give them a more
Yeah.
sustainable income, right? So that's
Right.
how I created, and people loved it here. So I'm like, I'm gonna make women happy in the United States, and I'm gonna make women happy in Colombia. So that's how it all started. And
I love it.
obviously adding the cherry on the top, that the jewelry is made out of natural materials. So it's like we are also helping the planet.
And talk about that because, folks, when you are done with that lemon rind, lime rind,
Oh,
the nuts, talk about what happened. I mean, seriously, I mean, they're all that, vegetative products, but they take a while to decompose, right?
right. Well, they don't. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the material. So we use orange peel and uh, coffee beans, kidney beans, and a lot of different
Right.
seeds. So just to give you an example, there are more than 15 million tons of orange peel that get discarded every year, right? And this creates a economic and
Yeah.
sustainable problem. So how we could recycle the orange peel, and how we can make it a beautiful piece of
Yeah. So, like your rosebud right there. What is that? Let me just bring that up to the big screen here. So, what is that?
that's orange peel.
Come on.
I show you the back. You believe me now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the orange peel is the rose is the orange peel, and then these are, I don't see them. Bombona seeds are these ones,
Yep.
and then we
Yep.
combine them with other seeds or stones. So that's what we have.
Right. I bring this up because, as you may know from a recent post of mine on LinkedIn, Angela, I'm a huge fan of Anita Roddick. I met her. She's a woman who wanted to bring clean products to the world in 1976. And she went to Africa and South America to find women in these communities to give them the economic boost, right,
Right.
of providing these products. And so you were just like her. And then by providing these folks an opportunity to pull something together that's beautiful, that's in their backyard. They get this great creative outlet and they get an economic boost from it. So it's just lovely. And I just wanted you to share that story because I know we're going to talk about all the other fun things.
Changing lifestyles, and that's the purpose at the end of the day.
Yes. And, women helping women, women empowering women. That's my favorite hashtag, right? But what was good is that it was a lovely bridge as well to what you're doing now. So the last time I saw this gorgeous goddess, everybody, was before the pandemic. So I think it was in the spring of 2019. We had great coffee and conversation. And when Angela and I get together, it's beep, 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 right? And so, but you had this, this idea in your head that was forming for what you're doing now. But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about some of the things that were so important that you learned from Artyfactos that you're carrying forward, because folks, we learned so much from our missteps and our mistakes, right?
Right. So I want to tell you first the positive things that I learned from Artyfactos. I'm still Artyfactos is still running, so it's still alive. One of the things is the fulfillment that it gave me when I heard that these artisans were able to buy their first home, right? So it's how, it was the most important thing, more than sales or anything for me.
Aww.
It was how we are really impacting them. So I wanted to create something in construction, as you mentioned, Andy, because but I didn't want to do anything that didn't include social.
Right.
I was trying to, with all those years of experience in construction, I was like, there are so many opportunities, but I want something that creates social impact, because I learned that feeling from Artyfactos too. So how I can give and pay it forward and help others with the ones that we didn't have in the same opportunities that I had. So that was the inspiration to start Merge-Tek. And in terms of failures, is how I could be better prepared when I was starting the
Artyfactos, yeah.
Right? Like one example is pricing strategy. With Artyfactos, I went, to all in, and I asked everybody and every table at the cafe, what do you think about the product? How much would you pay for this? That was my market research, right? And then I came up with an idea based on that interviews, right? Those surveys. But then later on, I learned that maybe I should have charged more, right? The price would be better, especially when I went into the wholesale channels, right? Because I need to give them a margin. So what I learned about that with Merge-Tek is I need to do better market research in terms of pricing, what is out there. So now I'm talking to a lot of I wouldn't say competitors, but people that are in the app industry, in the technology industry, how much they are charging. So I'm doing a lot more research, so I don't put ourselves.
That's right.
And that is not it's not a good position. So that's one example.
And so before we leave, everybody, I'm going to share the Artyfacto website with you all, because I just want to bring it up in the screen here. Can you all see that? Okay, because that way, you get an idea. I'll scroll down a little.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can see some of the wonderful jewelry, shop necklaces. I just think it's just so important. This was a really phenomenal journey. It's still happening now. You can get those bracelets. You can get those earrings. You can shop here. Oh, the goddesses.
Yeah.
The babies. So I just wanted to share that with everybody real quickly, because that's, still a very important part of the journey that helped prepare you for today. It's why you participated in the accelerator. Sure, you got your MBA from Babson, one of the best colleges for entrepreneurs, but also you learned so much from this journey, and it's still happening now. And so, you're still having that social impact. So I'm just going to say a quick howdy do. Hey, Brent from Ottawa, thank you so much for tuning in. He's saying diverse person here, sending warm Friday wishes to Boston. I am ready for an Andylicious moment. You know it's going to happen. And hey, I got as Mia, host of the Shit We Don't Talk About podcast and brand ambassador everywhere, folks. hop on Spotify, find Shit We Don't Talk About podcast, because you will love the conversations Mia has. She is brilliant as a podcast host, and she goes there in these wonderful topics. And she's also tuning in from Facebook as well. Oh, multi-talented goddess, and saying gorgeous repurposing, right? That jewelry. And Kirsten, talking about mama of 3 girls, right? Kirsten, you can relate to Angela. And Kirsten's coming in from Texas, and she has a phenomenal business called Blue Maestro. It is an Internet of Things business. And I'm so happy always to see the live viewers. Thank you for adding value to the conversation. So you decided to build an app. Honestly, that is a huge undertaking. And what was it that you were seeing in the landscape in the construction industry? And look, we don't have to go too far on that, right, women? We know where these male-dominated industries are and how we've been trying to make inroads. There are women-owned construction companies here in Boston, electrician companies in Boston, plumbing companies, and they have to fight for every little tiny nail hole to get into the deal flow. But you decided you really wanted to make an impact. How did this idea come about, and what was your vision for it initially?
Well, the idea, so I've had the idea in my mind that I wanted to start something in construction. I didn't know what it was, because what I said, I wanted something that would create a social impact, until I think I was in Cape Cod on a Labor Day weekend.
Don't you love it, everybody? We always remember where we were when we had that idea.
And
like
then
our first kiss.
I know, right? So it just came to my mind, like, hey, my experience is mostly heavy construction. So it's bridges, roads, tunnels, all of that. And obviously those are federal projects or state projects. So they require that a percentage of the contract amount needs to be performed by a minority-owned business. And my personal experience was being part of a general contractor, that we needed to find these minority-owned businesses in order for us to fulfill that requirement. Otherwise, we would be penalized, right?
That's right, especially if it's a government contract. They want to see the numbers.
Right. And probably some of you know, like, for instance, in Boston, the numbers are still not there. So, and not only here, it's nationwide. So how we could, so then the idea came, like, I could be that bridge again. Like, how can I help these prime contractors or general contractors to find minority-owned businesses so they can first meet the requirements, right? But the other part, the social part, was how I can help these small businesses to grow and to get visibility and to get business acumen so they can work better. And that's this weekend by the beach. I was like, oh, maybe I can be that bridge. Talking about Artyfactos being the bridge, for me, this was like, I can be that bridge.
Oh, I love that. And that's so important to know about you, about yourself, is that you love to be the bridge, the thing that connects point A to point B. And there you are working on those big construction. I mean, those are huge things, building tunnels, building bridges, the big construction sites. So I'm in my mind, of course, I'm thinking of like Tinder for the construction world. Swipe right.
That's a good way to see it.
But that kind of matching, everybody in their construction hats. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm really being.
I don't know a lot about Tinder, so I don't know how much we can compare to that. I've been married for 25 years, so like I think we see ourselves more like an intersection between LinkedIn and Angie's List.
Yes. Because Angie's List, you're going to find that for your residential, sometimes commercial folks, but you needed to bring in the big bona fide, the people who can have the capability. And this is where, the bridge is so important, but also finding, and I'm sure this happens with the large construction projects like you've been working on, that to find someone who can step up to the plate. So perhaps they had been on big construction sites, decided to be the cement provider or whatever. And you can share what a typical subcontractor looks like for these big construction sites. But how do you know when you're the big contractor that's getting paid, $1 billion to do the big dig in Boston, for example? How do you know the subcontractor is going to come through for you?
Correct. And that's the big challenge, because there are these like public lists, right? For instance, the city of Boston here has it, right? And everywhere, New York City, everybody has it. But then they have, and that's what we are doing. We are being this hub, and we are also curating those lists, because you can go there and you can say, show me all the certified minority owned businesses. And then you come with like auto glass, like automotive glass, like nothing that is close to construction. Everything is mixed.
Yeah. And that's based on SEO too. So, you're trying to search and find, and it's not coming up with what you want.
So it's not convenient for a corporation. So they have these estimators, for instance, when they are trying to find these companies, they have engineers, estimators looking for these companies so they can invite them to bid, right, for a project.
Yeah.
So I was talking to a company last week, and they were saying like, sometimes we have only 2 weeks to bid a project, and then in 2 weeks we don't have time to go and look for company, like, because they have to go find them, like look for them. And they told me like, it cannot be like the 2 guys that are remodeling a house.
Right.
They are in that list, but they are not going to help us. Talking to what you were mentioning, Andy, the capabilities, the capacity of the company, right?
Right.
So we need to curate those lists so we can give value to the prime contractor and tell them, look, what you are going to find here is what you need, and not a bunch of still people in construction, but probably are not going to meet what you need.
This is so important, because while you were on the beach, you hit on a really important problem that folks were having. Look, I get my best ideas in the showers. Water, it is proven, folks, the ions in water, it does something on the brain, and great ideas come out. But, and you knew this was going to be a problem, but I'm sure many people have known for decades that this was a problem.
It's been a problem for years and years. And
yeah.
years.
So why you, Angela? How did you get to be the one who said, you know what? This isn't going to go on a day more. I'm not a tech goddess. I am a civil engineer goddess. I am going to solve this problem. Where did you begin? Did you, on pen and paper? What was that first step that you took?
First of all, why not me, right?
Right. Well,
I think I do believe I do believe that I am a woman. So I'm double minority, right?
Yeah.
Latina and woman, and then I have worked most of my life with white guys, so I know both sides. I understand both sides, because I think a lot of people have tried to fix the problem. So there are all these, the women associations, the Black associations, the Hispanic associations. So everybody's kind of, but I would like, what should I be in the women's or in the Hispanics, in both? Like, how about if we bring all together and it's a one-stop shop?
Yeah.
So the idea, so first, yes.
But Angie, I hate to interrupt your flow, but I have to share the stitch that on a pillow moment. Why not me? Come on, that is the best. Stitch that on a. I can see that pillow on the chair or couch. It's so important. Why not me? And so you knew that all these organizations had been attempting, the Black Economic Councils in every big city. Right. You can find them everywhere. The Latin Economic Councils trying to boost up business for their community. So when you said, why not me? You were picturing a handheld, you were picturing something that could be easily found on the phone.
And be a hub, right?
Yeah.
Because for companies, so that for the big contractors, they have to be members of the Hispanics Association so they can have access to those lists. They need to be members of the Black associations so they can have access. So for them, it becomes like, I need to be part of all these associations, and so I can have access to those. or they can, a lot of them look into the public lists, but they are not, some of them are not updated. So there are businesses that are already out of business.
Oh my gosh, it's such a waste of time. Nobody has that kind of time.
Right, correct. So then when I started doing more research and, seeing if somebody else is doing that, I was not just gonna start. I needed to do some research. I was like, this must be something out there. And yes, there are a lot of things, but it's like in silos, I feel.
Yeah.
So then I decided that I was gonna build a wireframe. And ask me why I know that word, just because my co-founder
Okay, Angela, why do you know that word? What's it called? Wireframe?
wireframe. So this was like, I was just saying, I'm gonna be that prototype. And they were like, yeah, that for an app, I guess for an app is called wireframing. And what it means is that I would create all the screens, right, that you will see in the app, and link the buttons, right? Like if I want to register, so if I click on this button that says register, it's going to bring you to another screen that is going to ask for your name and your email, let's say, right? So I found this tool that is called Marvel, and that is an app that helps you create and design apps.
Oh my gosh, how do you spell that? And I'm going to put the link into the show notes.
Yes, it's called Marvel, Marvel.
And Marvel, like the comics.
Marvel, yes, exactly.
Love that.
Yes. So then obviously it's called Marvel app, and so I registered and I started playing with it. So I created my own wireframing design of what the app could look like, right?
And the journey, the user experience journey. See, I just love this because, folks, if you have an idea, Angela's just hit on an app that you can use to help you go, okay, so if I wanted to get this information, what are the different steps as a user that I'm going to go through, and what is that experience going to be like? And then you started mapping that out for everybody, right?
Right. And the user experience and in construction. Let me tell you why we decided to go with a mobile app and not a dashboard PC. Because I know my guys, and they are very good with their phones, right? We all are very good with our phones. We have them with us all the time. A lot of them don't even like to go to a computer and work on a computer. And so I thought it was more convenient. And on top of it, we are in the job site, right? So sometimes we are in the middle of the site, and it's very convenient if we have it right there with us. So that's why we decided to start with a mobile application. That's the reason.
I love that.
So I built the prototype. By the way, it's free, right? So you don't have to spend money.
Excellent. So Merge-Tek. Oh, wow. So it's free for whom?
It's free. You can register and download the app and build your prototype there.
Oh, at Marvel?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
There's another one that is called Envision as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that we moved from Marvel to Envision. I'll tell you the story later why that happened, but there is another one that is called Envision.
So when you start pulling this all together and seeing the parts and pieces and seeing why not you, because your guys and the occasional gal on the construction, on the big construction, honking construction sites, so that they were like, oh my gosh, we have a hole we've got to fill here, and we need to meet our minority vendor guidelines. Now you're thinking, wow, they could pull out the phone, go into the category, right? Whether it could be the cement provider or iron workers, or like what are some of the examples of people who would provide for these big honkin' construction sites?
Concrete, barrier suppliers, rebar.
Yeah.
There are so many, painting, there are so many trades.
Yeah.
And it's, it's called the Nikes.
Right. And nobody had done this yet when you did your competitor research?
Not in the way we were thinking it. No. I mean, the list, when you go to the City of Boston list, for instance, they said like this company is rebar company.
Yeah.
Right. And is probably women owned, for instance, and the phone number and the email. but they don't have, for instance, any information about the capacity, right?
Right.
If they are able to work on a $10 million project, a $100 million project, or a $200,000 project. So the company, the big contractor, the general contractor needs to know also that, because why
Yeah,
was
because you got to be able to, the person has to be able to pay for inventory because they're not going to get paid right away. There's,
right?
you've got to have that line of credit in place. So
The bond capacity is called, because it's that insurance in construction. They need to have an insurance that covers, that makes sure that if the company fails or cannot perform the work, they are covered, right? So it's called bond capacity. So we are including the bond capacity in our list. We're including the EMR code, that is a code based on safety. In construction, number one thing, safety. So there is a rating that tells you if how safe the company is. So we are incorporating all of this extra data in the information that we are providing to prime contractors, so we can save hours and hours, time and people doing this.
So now, Angela, other than having the website and doing the retail and things, you weren't sitting there coding on the side. So you're the co-founder and CEO. Who was bringing all this technical genius to your Merge-Tek app?
Yeah. So once I build, let me finish one thing before I go there, Andy. Once I finished the prototype, we went to talk to companies. Before we hired a developing team.
Okay.
We went and talked to companies and showed them, like, look, this is what we have, right? Talking about market research and making sure that we are providing them with the value that they need. So we showed them what we had. They loved it. They were very enthusiastic. They told us, if you could give us this, you will save us a lot of money and time. And it was very, very exciting. So once we got that validation, and they gave us other ideas that we incorporated to the prototype, which was great. And then after we had kind of a better and more clear idea of that this is going to work, then my technical co-founder, he's the technical co-founder. So we were looking for developers.
Yes.
And that was another research. We look for people in, here in the United States, in India, Middle East, and obviously in Latin America. And so we hired actually a team from Colombia. And
yay!
One of the reasons there were two reasons. Obviously, the pricing was competitive to the other teams, but also because a lot of, I would say 35% of the subcontractors in the construction industry are Hispanic. And we wanted to build the app to be a multilingual app.
My gosh, that's wonderful.
So now it's bilingual, English and Spanish. And being the team from Colombia, it was going to be very easy to have it in both.
Right. They're going to make sure that user experience is good for both languages. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That is wonderful. So then, and folks, finding that developer team can be really hard. And almost 2 years ago, I had Igor Belogorodsky, the CTO fractional contractor. I mean, he's amazing. If anybody's interested, go to that episode, and I can put that in the show links as well, has a phenomenal slideshow that he shared with us and how to choose developers, either offshore or onboarding them, so that you don't blow 50,000, 100,000 on it and not have any code left after all that. But your co-founder, being the tech brilliant gentleman that he is, he was able to onboard this team. You worked with them. And where is Merge-Tek now in the development?
Yeah, so we developed an MVP. Our developing team said that's more than an MVP. So it is a functional app. It is already up in the stores, in the Google Play Store and the app.
Android,
iPhone. So it is developing for both platforms, Android and iPhone, and iOS, I should say. And so it is up and functioning. So right now where it is that we are, it's a marketplace.
Right.
So we are building both networks. Obviously,
Right.
we are starting with the subcontractor side of it, so we
Yeah.
can bring value to the general contractors, because at the end of the day, and we can talk about business model,
Yeah.
they are going to be our final customers, right? So we are not planning in charging to the subcontractors, or
Right.
do like a small amount, but it is.
That's, to me, is the real added value. What, the problem you're really solving is finding these groups of subcontractors that can deliver to the large contractor that has the big assignment to build. And
Let me tell you one more thing, talking about the social part, right? Because we
yeah,
talk about the value that we are bringing to the prime contractors, but we are also helping the small businesses to gain business acumen, and how we can help them also improve their, what we call paperwork, or their operations, right? Because most of these subcontractors are very good at what they do, right? If they do painting or rebar or concrete, they are very good at that. But a lot of them are not interested in doing paperwork, what they call paperwork, right? Which to me is like the business side of it. And so we are also creating a consulting part of that we will help these small businesses to grow and to get more business acumen. And at the same time, the consulting would go to the prime contractors, because they want us to understand them better, so we can be a better bridge.
oh, Andelicious moment coming up, everybody. I love how you spoke to the fact that these subcontractors are so good at what they do, but it's the quote pesky details of running the business that where they need to up their founder game, their ownership game. And a lot of times they may not be able to find that great tax preparer or accountant, or that person that's going to advocate for them in the certification process. Getting the right zone, the right uh, safety certification, the right insurance, everything. So, you're helping to bring them along. And I'm just seeing just this blanket of wonderful dots going around and connecting and providing this glue with Merge-Tek, because now they're going to have, the bankers will be more confident in their ability to deliver. The construction folks will be more confident in their ability to deliver. The insurance folks will be more confident. And as a result, you have lifted this company up so they can play bigger and then employ more people from their community.
Right, and bring economic prosperity to diverse communities,
Yes.
and create generational wealth too.
Yes.
That,
Yes.
that
Generational. You're ticking off all the boxes on what makes you happy, because you are a social impact entrepreneur. And I love that you took your smarty pants construction capability, civil engineer. You've got your MBA from Babson, the Entrepreneurial University College in America, the top one. And you've pulled together an app that solves a problem both in the construction industry that's really important, but also it helps the under-resourced communities. It's just too exciting for words. And I'm thinking at this point, now that it's quote, what would you say? It's in beta, people are trying it out, and you're starting to build the marketplace.
Yeah, so what we are doing right now is recruiting companies to join our, we call it the early adopter program, where they can come and really test their application in their projects, in their sites. So we are meeting with huge corporations, with software construction, with STO building group out in New York. So we are talking to, Consigli, Gilbane, all of these.
Turner.
Turner, we did talk to Turner. So we are talking to all these big general contractors,
Right.
or construction management companies, to start trying our our application. At the
Excellent.
same time, we are populating the list of the subcontractors, and
Sure.
we are talking to some of them to also ask them to use it.
Yeah. This is so exciting. So how long are you going to spend in this phase? Because folks, beta is so important. This is where you get to refine and pivot a little sometimes when your customers tell you. And I bring this up because I interviewed a guy who years ago as an architect set up a way to make entrances to these big skyscrapers and office buildings more street friendly and appealing. But he learned something else from his customers, that it was about the sidewalks that had to be important and the front entry that had to be important. And he listened and he pivoted, and boom, he made a fortune and had a great exit. So this beta that we go through, founders, is so important because you're going to learn how you can be even more valuable to the customers that you are solving the problem for. So how long do you think you'll stay in the beta stage?
I hope not too long. And well, I do feel that the software is good. However, it's good to get that validation. What you are mentioning, you are right on point. So what one of the ideas talking about what the customer tells you initially, and we have not talked about that, but initially we always thought about prime contractor, subcontractor, right? Always. However, remember when I told you we built the prototype and went to visit contractors? They asked us, they asked if we also included workforce, diverse workforce, because they also have to comply with trades people, right? So we had not thought about that, but a lot of them asked us that question. So we said, oh, we need to include workforce too. So we added in the application, all the trades people too, so that they can come and look for a job through the app. So our subcontractors and prime contractors can post jobs through the app, and they also hire diverse trade people for their jobs. So
this is wonderful, Angela. I love this because, again, multiple revenue streams, multiple ways of serving people is so important with apps. It can't just be a one and done. And so you've got plenty to chew on for quite a while and improve.
yes.
How about partnering with some of the large cities? Because this is hard for them to be meeting their own governmental requirements, right? So is there a way that you can partner with them, and as well as with Black or Latin economic councils to improve how many people you serve?
Yeah, let me tell you what our experience has.
Yeah, share. Look at that smile, everybody. She's lit up.
Interesting. I'm smiling because it's interesting. So you see it the way we see it, right? Like, let's take the technology as a tool and reach out to more people, right? Like, just use it. Interestingly, when we met with some of them, they see us as a competitor in a way. And so we needed to change the way of their thinking, because obviously they recruit people, right? Like, I'm talking about unions or associations, right?
Yes.
So they are like, well, but I am the one who recruits people. Like, what do you mean? Like, you are going to start offering, putting job posts in your application and all of that. And with associations, they are like, well, we have our, like, let's say Hispanic association. Just giving you an example. That's not the real one. And you are going to also bring them, in your mobile app. And that was a surprise for me, the way they reacted. But at the same time, we told them, no, actually use our technology to reach out to more people and to bring more members into your associations, or bring more tradespeople into your unions, membership. So that's why I was laughing, because the initial experience was
like, stay away.
Yeah. But no, they have, like, then when we explained to them, or we told them you should use our technology, it was something that clicked on their minds, and they were like, oh, maybe yes. So yes, so it's been the construction industry, Andy. It's a little bit behind in terms of technology compared to other industries. So when you ask me how long do I want to be in beta, and I answered, I hope not too long, but I understand and I'm realistic that it's gonna take
Yep.
a little bit, because in a way we are also educating them.
That's right.
Telling-
Bringing them up to speed.
Right. It's like somebody, we were talking to the chief innovation officer of a construction company recently, and he said, if somebody had asked Ford, Ford, um, if Ford had asked people
Oh,
back
right.
then what they wanted, they would tell him, we want a faster horse, right?
Yeah, we want a better horse. Yeah.
Right. But good thing that he didn't listen to that. That's why he created the car, right? So it is the same thing. We are trying to tell them, to educate them and show them that there are better ways to achieve what they need to achieve.
So I got to pop up because not only with an incredible podcast host and brand ambassador, our good friend Mia Voss has been a building inspector. She has her own building inspection business, commercial, big honking projects since 2001. So, that's something you have to bring in as a building inspector. So does that meet your diverse person, minority business owner?
I'm not sure about that.
I know.
Question. Maybe Mia can expand a little bit more on that. Because I'm not sure if in commercial building, because most of my experience is heavy construction.
Right.
I'm not sure in commercial building if the building inspectors need to also meet a requirement.
No, but she could be in your subcontractor list. Is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can understand the question correctly. Yes, definitely. Yes.
Because they're going to be looking and they're going to go to white guy. Oh, blonde woman.
Right. Yes. Yes. And we are creating, so we have a team that is like curating the lists,
Yeah.
right, the public lists, so we can give the prime contractors
That's right.
quality of information.
So here, Mia saying punch list management for contractors and developers. Yay. She just tweeted you.
Thank
Great.
you, Mia.
Hey, I just want to say hello to someone who I love to pieces. It is Coach Toy, no sugarcoating coach, native New Yorker, longtime resident of Massachusetts, and currently based and tuning into this amazing show from Atlanta. Toy, you are always everywhere. Speak, train, coach, podcast host. Thank you for tuning in. Toy, so happy to see you and love that you're down in that nice weather in Atlanta. I love that. So here is this incredible problem that you're solving. You know what I really love about this? It's really complicated. And in the sense that there's a lot of moving parts and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I'm a huge believer that we rise to the occasion. And I think that you in particular, because why not me, as you said earlier, stitch that on a pillow, you are ready for this type of big, hairy, audacious app. And so I think that what makes me so happy for you, Angela, is that this is something that's going to tap into even more of your brilliance and bring even more of your strong leadership and business skills, as well as tapping into your strong construction industry skills in this. And with this fabulous, it's a social impact company all on top of it. It's like, as you said, the icing on the cake for you. I am just so grateful that you went to the beach that day. The idea came into your head and you said yes to it. And now look at you.
It is amazing how ideas come to your mind, right? Because I've heard, being a woman in construction, I've heard for years people telling me, oh, you should start a company. You cannot imagine how many advantages, people tell me you would be rich by now. Right? Because people are looking for companies, with women-owned companies in construction. But I wanted that social impact. And
Yes.
I never got it until that day. I was like, how can I help?
And so how are you funding all of this? I mean, this is, again, because we know of course, we know that under 2% of funds raised go to women. And of that, the Latina founder gets a
0.1%. I know.
How can we work with that?
I know, but that's not gonna stop us, right?
Right.
Well, bootstrapping right now, we use our savings to put into this app, and but now we are tapping into pitch competitions. We are looking into grants.
Oh, good. I was going to say, please do some grants. I mean, some nice ones, a good, 50K, 100K.
Right. Yes. And because we understand that we need to have more traction, so we could go to angel investors, or VCs. We still have a long, way to get there.
Yeah.
But we've had a few conversations with angel investors, even when we were just starting and prototyping, and I know they are keeping an eye.
Yeah. Would you consider equity crowdfunding Reg C for
Yes.
your business? Because I have a really strong feeling, on Republic or some of the ones that are out there that
Yes,
folks,
I want to
because
get into Republic and all of that. Thank you, Andy. That's a good idea.
yeah, and the reason why, folks, is that I can put 250 in. Okay. Anybody, you don't have to meet the accredited investor when you do equity crowdfunding. And you already are buttoned up because you have really strong admin skills. You know how to dot the I's and cross the T's. Folks, I say all that because when you do equity crowdfunding, you have to be SEC compliant. You've got to make sure all your paperwork is in right form. You've got to do your nice video pitch. You have to do a lot of great things for that. But for example, Trella Technologies that she created, Asia Atwood created a phenomenal horizontal growth technology, and to grow plants horizontally, which saves so much money and water and labor and heat, light, everything. And she couldn't get funded for nothing because she's a member of the Black community and the LGBTQ community. And so she went and did crowdfunding. Phenomenal equity crowdfunding. And what's nice about that too is that you can put it out to your community, and they don't have to say what they put in. They can just go boom, putting it in, throw it down. I mean, what you would spend to go out to dinner, and then you could really get some great traction, and people go, yay, I'm going to have that Warren Buffett moment. I'm an owner.
Yes, right? Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Ande. Like, this made our conversation for me today.
Yay!
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's great. The Startup Life Live show, folks. Everybody wins. Something always happens here. I love that. Well, let's move on to some of the more, I want to say intangible moments as you're going through. First of all, how can the Startup Life Live show add wind to your sails? Because, you never know who's going to be listening in. This show goes out around the world. The archives on YouTube get hundreds, sometimes thousands of replays, and the podcast gets thousands of downloads. How can we help you and your business at this point?
Well, you just did. It's a public idea. That was awesome. Now, for me, it's just spread the word. One of my goals, and I know you work a lot with women, and for me is how we can spread the word for women and change the stereotype of being a woman in construction. And for me, sending this message out there, please, women, come. We need you. This industry is amazing. There are a lot of opportunities. And I think the industry would benefit from more of us.
That's right. And it reminds me of what I saw recently. Someone said, and probably on Twitter, where they said, the day that we value someone who goes into trades the same way we do when they go into that college, 4-year college, will be a great day, because trades, my son's friends who are in trade are making 6-figure incomes.
They make they make good money.
Yes. Electrician, plumber, stone, mason. Oh my gosh. So we need to show that and value that and think that, yes. You are just as valuable.
I mean, I'm gonna say here, I'm only 4'11" and I'm very petite. I am in the construction industry because that's one of the stereotypes, right? You have to
Right.
be just physically in a certain way, but it's not true. And another way, even if you are in the trades, I always say you could be an operator, a machine operator, that you are like basically sitting down in a machine, moving a couple of things, and you make double the money or triple.
That's right.
So,
and with all due respect to the tech boot camps out there, the trades are happening.
they are, and we need women in all ways, like from from the boardroom to the trades, or from the trades to the boardroom, and it's I mean, and I love working with guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had amazing experience in the industry, but I think we can see and improve the industry.
That's right. Mia's always telling me stories because she loves to go in there and boss those guys around, and they love it when she comes in and bosses them around.
Yes, and they are so nice. My experience, they've been super nice. So it's like just lose that fear for women out there
in construction. I love that. So you have been at this for a while as an entrepreneur. How have you seen entrepreneurship serve you both personally and professionally? Because you're a mom of 3 and they're watching you in action, right? As well as, how professionally people have shifted in how they view you and your experience professionally. Because another thing about you, Angela, is that you've done TEDx talks, you've gotten out there. I remember you were part of the elevator pitch one time, I think. I mean, you have done some remarkable things as a founder.
Yeah. Well, I would start with personally. I think it has given me flexibility. And I'm saying this because being in construction, right, is very difficult to be, especially when you are in the job site, it's very difficult to have that flexibility to, I wouldn't call it work-life balance. I always call it like a rhythm of life, because some days you have to work more and other days you have to spend more time with your kids when you are a mother. So how you can find that rhythm, and sometimes it's very difficult when you are in an industry that is male dominated, and especially when you have to be in a job site. So for me, that has been a big change, and it has given me still working in construction, but and it's still impacting the industry, but it's still giving me that personal rhythm.
That's
I'm
right.
Latinos, I'm always thinking about it.
App the rhythm. I feel like Gloria Estefan song coming on. But
professionally, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Again, professionally, I would say that it has helped me. I would say like jump, like everybody talks about the glass ceiling. Sometimes I call it the concrete ceiling, because I was feeling that I was never gonna be able to really reach an executive level in the industry. Being a woman, being Latina, having the accent that I have, I really thought that it was not going to be easy for me to really break that ceiling. So I thought maybe I should just like come here and jump and go above that ceiling. So that's where I am right now, and that's what I'm doing professionally too.
Nicely said. And boy, this company, Merge-Tek, is definitely going to challenge you on every level to bring more than you ever knew that you had. And I'm so excited about that for you. And I'm glad that you brought up that really important point, which is this work-life balance, folks. No such thing. If you're parenting and working, it's a juggling act, and you figure it out as you go.
Yes, true.
And the needs are there, and you try to measure, and make sure it happens. Oh, Angela, I just loved having this time with you and hearing more and going deeper into how you built this app and how you are also helping society out, the social impact that you're bringing, which is so important to you. And folks, you have to remember, your business has to feed you as well on every level, right? Economically, but also in your heart. And right. So you've You nailed it, girlfriend.
That's why I never started anything before, because I wanted something that touched my heart.
That's right.
And you know, I discovered even more that I'm a social entrepreneur.
There you are. You're
Yeah.
a B Corp right there. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pop you into the green room and wrap up the show. Let everybody know who's coming on next. Can't wait to see you in person again. Okay.
Next time.
Well, Hurl, that's hug in real life, everybody.
Yes. Thank you, Andy, for this. And thank you so much for what you do, helping women and diverse
Thank you.
people. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for what you do too.
Oh, thank you, Angela Sanchez, CEO and co-founder of Merge-Tek. Let me just go ahead and bring up the goodies. And oh, Mia's got one last question, so let's just bring that up. Social entrepreneur, yes, such a great conversation.
Yeah, we are connecting soon.
Yes, you will. You'll love Mia. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me pop you into the green room and I will come in. You know, folks, women, there's a place and a seat for you anywhere you want to glow. Okay. And Angela just showed us, you know, as she candidly admitted, I'm 4'11 and I'm a Latina woman with an accent and I'm nailing it in construction. So don't get caught in some of those limiting beliefs that hold you back from pursuing your dreams. Well, speaking of someone who said, oh, hell no to limiting beliefs, wait till you see who's on our show next Tuesday, March 29th at 12 p.m. EST. We are chatting with photographer, free runner, and high school dropout, Jonas Anguina. He's the co-founder and CEO of Beezy, a SaaS-enabled marketplace for content production. And let me tell you, he started his business in his teens, okay, and a dropout of high school. So before he reached his 22nd birthday, Jonas built a global platform for media production and creatives. He raised 2 rounds of capital and now leads a fully remote team around the world, serving large corporations and small companies. So he's proving that you can't let the world define your founder journey. You're going to love his startup stories. He's coming in from Berlin. So we're going to have a great conversation. That's Tuesday, March 29th. And until then, please remember these important ingredients. Okay. Promise me you'll always remember that you're braver than you believe. And you are stronger than you seem. And as we say here in Boston, you're wicked smarter than you think. Okay, so keep going, keep glowing until I see you again. Wishing you a delicious day wherever you are. Mwah! See you next time.